sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
Ever dreamed of building something amazing? Builders First Source in Rapid City, Spearfish, and Hot Springs is your go-to building materials partner. Whether you're building new or giving new life to an old space, we provide step-by-step guidance from drafting and cabinetry design to lifelike visualization and top-quality materials. It's your vision, and we're here to make it real. Visit BLDR.com. Builders First Source, your Black Hills partner in building every step of the way.
High school football action continues this Friday with a Black Hills Conference showdown on Fox Sports Rapid City. The Rapid City Christian Comets vie for their second straight win as the Comets head to the Southern Hills to battle the Hot Springs Bison at Woodward Field. Join Dean Gurin meets Rome Wickersham for all the action, beginning with the pregame show Friday at 5:45, followed by the kickoff at 6. Rapid City Christian meets Hot Springs Friday right here on Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Candidate and Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer is out indefinitely as the school announced he will need surgery to repair a hand injury suffered in their win against Auburn this past weekend. Michael Hawkins Jr. will start against Kent State in the Sooners' next game on October 4th. ESPN reports that it's a broken bone in Mateer's hand that is requiring surgery. No word if he'll be back for their showdown with Texas October 11th in Dallas. Mike Gundy's out as the head football coach at Oklahoma State. He was in his 21st season as the Cowboys head coach. Also was a 4-year player at quarterback for the Cowboys. He's owed $15 million left on the 3.5 years left on his contract. Jackson Dart, the new starting quarterback of the Giants. They're turning to the first-round pick over Russell Wilson, who will be the backup in Week 4 against the Chargers. Bucs wide receiver Mike Evans to miss 3 to 4 weeks because of a hamstring strain. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, we're back and ready. How are you today, everybody? You doing okay? We're back on South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio. The Nate Brown Show is ready. Tuesday edition. It's always a great day in South Dakota. Hope you've had a great day yourself. Let's talk some sports today. Thought-provoking sports talk across the state. And we'll get into some good stuff tonight. High school, college, to the pros. There's some good questions of the day. Have a little fun. 2 hours, thought-provoking sports talk. You can be a part of the show. I invite you in. Thanks for making this show possible. We appreciate it. The Nate Brown Show streaming right now on YouTube. The Nate Brown Show. Find us, subscribe to the channel. If you've got the YouTube going, you got us there. The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. X is live streaming as well. Find us at Nate Brown Show. You can watch the show on your phone if you have an X account. Follow us there at Nate Brown Show and watch us live. And finally, we are on Midwest Sports Plus, the new high school sports streaming app. Do you have that yet? Seeing the high school football coverage has been really, really good. Midwest Sports Plus. Welcome you in wherever you're at tonight. Thanks for checking in on the Nate Brown Show. We've got some great guests tonight, from the Vikings to the FCS to Major League Baseball. Good stuff across the board. Let's look at it. Matthew Collar's going to drop by, get us going from the Twin Cities. He's got some interesting reporting today on the Vikings and what they do at quarterback moving forward. What are the Vikings really saying now? What if Carson Wentz does something here over the next couple of weeks. What if? Matthew Collar's got some interesting read on that. PurpleInsider.com is his site. He's live from the Twin Cities Live. Coming up on the Nate Brown Show, we'll go to Sam Herder tonight. Also interesting reporting from Sam Herder. He's a great FCS writer for Hero Sports. Would the FCS playoffs get a big change? His reporting today that maybe an outside entity wants to come in and run the FCS playoffs, not the NCAA, but some outside entity. Sam Herder's on that tonight. HeroSports.com. We'll get his take on the Yotes and Bison at the Fargo Dome this Saturday as well. Sam Herder's coming up, FCS senior analyst. Brian Noe on a Tuesday. It's the Noe Show. Countdown to kickoff host on Fox Sports Radio. It's Brian Noe, the A-lister tonight from Las Vegas. He'll join us shortly. And Scott Pianowski is on as well. National Major League Baseball writer for Yahoo Sports. Got you covered across the board. Let's get you in tonight if you want to give your hot takes. They're readily accepted on the Nate Brown Show. 605-720-1067. 605-720-1067. Lock that number in. It's the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch at East 10th Street in Sioux Falls. Also in Brandon. Great location there. 2 locations in Rapid City. It's the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. Barron's Wilson text line open and ready, 605-720-1067. Same number, so if you can't call us tonight, you can text the show and be a part of the conversation there. Barron's Wilson text line, 605-720-1067. All right. Well, it has come. The time has come where Major League Baseball will be relying on the robot umps. Let's hang on a second. Don't overreact. Everybody, hang on. Keep the car straight. Keep the truck straight right now. But no, this is a fact. Leave it to Major League Baseball, who's counting down their final week of the season, the postseason races and all that stuff, when they should be highlighting the playoffs and the postseason and the pennant chases. And they release that Major League Baseball is going to use the automated ball strike system for next season. Now, this is the challenge system. And that's why I don't want to say it's full robot umps yet. It's full automated strike zone yet, although some of you have called for that. Some of you have called for that. You non-baseball purists, you new baseball people, you've called for the automated strike zone and just eliminate the umpires. I see the slippery slope that we're going down here, so hang on. And leave it to Major League Baseball, honestly. You got the postseason upon us here next week, and they released that they're going to do the automated ball strike challenge system for next season. Maybe you could have announced that after the postseason, like use your marketing and headline power when there's nothing going on. But nonetheless, they announced it today. So each team is going to get challenges, and if you watch this in spring training, I watched it because I didn't want to just complain, so I watched it in spring training this past year. It's not like it takes forever, so I'll give you that. It's not like it takes forever, but it is, to me, a little much when we can just continue to challenge balls, strikes. If we get it right, if the player, the batter, or the catcher, or the pitcher, if they continue to get it right this next season in regular season baseball, they can challenge all game long. So they could just keep challenging balls and strikes the entire game if they keep getting it right. Because they say, well, you get 2 chances. That's what Major League Baseball announced today. You get 2 chances in a game to challenge balls and strikes from the home plate umpire. And so if you get those 2 right, if you keep getting them right, it just keeps on going all game. If you get them wrong, then you're out of luck. You could challenge in the first inning and you get them wrong and you're done the rest of the game. So this is what I'm asking you guys, Major League Baseball fans. Can you let me know, will this really elevate the game? Will this really impact the game? I challenge a ball and strike in the second inning. There's nobody on base. It's the second out of the inning. Nobody on base, and I challenge it. and I get it wrong. I burned up one. My next inning, I burn up another. It's gone. You're going to still have people complain on this program and throughout the country. The umps can't get it right, and we should have more challenges than 2. We should have challenges unlimited. You got to get it right. That's what people are going to complain about. I can hear it now. Oh, we got to get these balls and strikes right. It's ridiculous how the umps miss these strikes. It's ridiculous how the catchers frame the pitches. We got to get them right. So even the 2 challenges throughout the game, and if you keep getting it right, it's unlimited. But even the 2, and if you mess up, then they're burned up, and then you're going to have people complaining. So my point is, this isn't going to solve a huge problem. I don't think this is going to solve a huge problem. I would have put some parameters on this. So here's the parameters I actually would put on this ball strike challenge system. Major League Baseball just announced it today. They're going to implement it for the regular season next year. Why couldn't we just do challenges on the 3rd strike on the 4th ball? I mean, do we have to do it on ball 1? Do we have to do it on strike 1? There is an element here. It's let's make it a little more impactful. And I don't think we should just hang on to it for the last 3 innings, but maybe that's another idea. But baseball games are a little different, and you could have a big inning in the 2nd inning and it's over. So I'm not going to limit the time frame, 1st inning to 9th inning. Well, let's do it later in the game. I would limit it on what type of strike and ball that really impacts the game, which is 3rd strike. You get a 3rd strike call and you don't like it, and it punches you out, and it's runners in scoring position, his bases loaded, whatever you want to say. That's an impactful call. So I do say, if you guys want this a little bit, if you want a real impactful thing, allow the players to challenge. Let's put it in an important aspect of the game. 3rd strike call, ball 4 call. That's really the only ones you really are going to impact. That's really the only ones. But no, we're going to go unlimited if you keep getting it right, and then it's going to be going to the scoreboard. So we got to look at the scoreboard. The previous pitch is under review. This is baseball. There's thousands of pitches. This is baseball. Does anybody know what percentage of balls and strikes the umps got right from ump scorecard? I had this come out right here. Ump scorecard, they do every pitch, every ump all season. Does anybody know what percentage the big league umpires get correct? What percentage do they get correct, do you think? 94%. Wow, that's 6%. That's bad. That's 6%. They're wrong. That's a killer. That lost me some games as a Cubs fan. The 6% lost the Twins some games. 94% right on balls and strikes. I think Major League Baseball is going down this road, which I'm going to guess it's not going to just stop at challenging balls and strikes, because people will complain still next year when we run out of challenges. We only get 2 a game, and if we mess up, then we're going to complain, because we did that in the NFL. Oh, they burned up their challenges. I wish they would have saved them. We had a big call later in the game, and they got it wrong. And then everybody complains about the refs still. This isn't going to magically fix. Oh, this has fixed Major League Baseball's ball strike issue and the umpires missing calls. They get 94% of them right, and we're acting like it's an absolute mess that they can't call balls and strikes. So I would have gone down this road, make it impactful then, 3rd strike call, ball 4 call, make those challengeable. Just limit the aspect of this. You don't need to go all game long, continue to challenge every single ball and strike. And again, it doesn't take forever. It's fairly quick, up to the scoreboard. But here's the other thing I'm interested in on this. This was announced by Major League Baseball today. Major League Baseball is going to use the automated ball strike challenge system powered by T-Mobile. What's that mean to you? I know sponsorships. We have sponsorships on this program. Major League Baseball automated ball strike challenge system powered by T-Mobile. This is a sponsored change in the game. Nobody knows it. How much does T-Mobile have to pay for this? T-Mobile's like, hey, we could do the automated ball strike challenge system. We'll sponsor that in every stadium. That's a pretty payday. I can't get into sponsorships of rule changes. I don't want to get into sponsorships of rule changes. Powered by T-Mobile? That's goofy. That's like something Rob Manfred would do. Wait a second. That's goofy stuff. So let me ask you this question of the day on the Nate Brown Show as we start tonight. Major League Baseball Automated Ball Strike Challenge System, ABS. It's called ABS, Automated Ball Strike Challenge System, going into effect next season. And I want to know how important you think it is for the game. How important is it for the game? The Automated Ball Strike Challenge System. We think we can get everything right these days. We have to get... So then I'll ask you this. Why do you think we should challenge holding in the NFL? How come we can't challenge false starts? I mean, I see false starts on the tush push all the time with the Eagles. We can't challenge it. Well, what do you mean? It's right there. We can see who moves early. That should be corrected. Because my point is we can't legislate correct every single thing, and this still won't do it. So I'm in the minority, I think, that I still want the human element. I still think the umpires and the back and forth, I kind of like that. I think baseball's different that way. Everything doesn't have to be automated. I don't think we have to do it because it's still not going to fix some maybe big calls because you're going to be out of challenges. If you use them up early, you mess up. Then the ninth inning, there could be a ball strike, and then we're all going to cry about it because they're going to mess it up. So do you think, how important is this for the game? By the way, I think the slippery slope is this will, I believe, lead to the actual robot umps where you got the human there with the earpiece, and he's just going to be told what's a ball and a strike. And then you're going to say, oh, no, that's 100% accurate. Totally accurate. Doesn't matter how tall the batter is and stuff like this. We're going to have this system so good from T-Mobile. They're paying a lot of money for the sponsorship. They're going to have it so good, we're going to know exactly what balls and strikes are every time. And then we're going to have robot umps, strike, ball. You're not going to have any calls made by the humans. That's how this stuff goes. We're going to have it automated from beginning to end. So I don't think it's that important for the game. I don't think we're at a crisis. There's some bad calls. We make everybody sound like the worst umpires out there, like Angel Hernandez. Not everybody's Hernandez. So let's see. Do you think it's important to help the game of Major League Baseball? My question of the day on the Nate Brown Show, 605-720-1067. Your read, baseball fans, I want to know where you stand with Major League Baseball going automated strike zone challenge system next year. It's going to be implemented. They just tried it in spring training, and now they're going to go full regular season next year. Powered by T-Mobile. We're sponsoring rule changes to the game. It's amazing. 64% of you say it's important. It will elevate the game. I knew I was in the minority on this. I don't know why that is. I think we can get everything right, but we still can't quite get everything right. Nothing's going to be perfect in sports. Sports are human. Sports are emotion. This is going to be emotionless. Ball strike, automated strike zone, and then you're going to have no humans calling anything the next step. That'll be powered by T-Mobile 5G. By the way, 35% of you say leave baseball alone. So 35% of you are holding on to hope. Just leave baseball alone. And it's not like baseball hasn't changed. It has. They've made some adjustments. I think there's been some good changes. But this one just takes us to a spot where we're going to go down the slippery slope. And then, by the way, if this is, why don't they do this in the College World Series then? Well, what do you mean? Why don't they do this in the Women's College Softball World Series? Well, what about Little League? Isn't that big time? Little League World Series on ABC? We should do an automated strike zone there. Challenge balls and strikes, right? We got to see if We got it right. Let's see if we can call them out. See how good these Little League umps are at the Little League World Series. I want to see. That's the way we're going. Why not do it there? Let's see. Lister text coming in. Nothing will help the modern game, says Jake. What do you mean by that, Jake? Nothing will help the modern game. Lister reaction from Pete. Can't wait until this is implemented full time. The full automated strike zone. So he wants full automated strike zone. No umpires making any calls. And I can't go for that. I can't go for that. What do you say? Some Lister text coming in. This is so wrong. Lister text. This is so wrong. 605-720-1067. Lister text. It's a dark time for baseball. The issue will still be there. A couple of lousy umps, and now the path for computers in baseball is here. Lister text, you can't make an imperfect game perfect. Humans make mistakes. So I do want to ask you guys that want the automated stuff. I got a couple of buddies that are in on this. Like they're totally in. They're in on this. I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to whine. I just think it's an ill-conceived, it's going to solve a lot of problems thing. No, it's really not. It's really not. A couple of my buddies said, though, well, this is what is needed. This is finally what's needed here. And I'm going down this road saying the challenge system, now we're going to challenge balls and strikes, and it's really not that impactful. I think they could have limited it to third strike, ball forced call. I think you could have found some ways to do that. And you think about this moving forward, you're going to have automated strike zones, and I don't think that's going to be exactly perfect either. Would you guys go for challenging everything then in football? I mean, Bill Belichick, didn't he mention that? Belichick said, why don't we just have, you can challenge anything. Like you get a couple of challenges, you can challenge anything. False starts, holding, all of that stuff. But we don't want that. I don't need to challenge false starts and holding and everything, but that's what we're doing in baseball. Every single pitch you can call into question now, starting next year. Matthew Collar is getting us going tonight as we get started with the Vikings Insider. What are the Vikings going to do next? Carson Wentz gets the win. Played solid, but huge defensive game for the Vikes. What if he keeps winning? Seriously. Matthew Collar has some reporting on that. What are the Vikings thinking about? PurpleInsider.com's Matthew Collar coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Hey, it's Nate Brown for Atomic Wings, 2 locations in Sioux Falls. You don't need to keep going to the mediocre wing places with too much breading and wings that don't have any meat. Atomic Wings is different. I know firsthand. Their boneless wings are made with fresh chicken right there. The best wings I've had. 15 unique flavors to choose from sweet to heat. Huge traditional wings, fresh boneless wings for game day, lunch, or dinner. 2 locations in Sioux Falls. Just order at atomicwings.com. Atomicwings.com.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. We have everything you need to update your window treatments with Window Images blinds and shades. We carry vinyl, aluminum, and full wood blinds, cellular shades, and more. Plus, get them trimmed to width in store for free. Also, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
At Highmark Credit Union, every swipe of your Spirit debit card does more than just make a purchase. It helps our regional schools. Through our Spirit Card program, funds go directly back to local classrooms and booster clubs. So far, we've donated over $29,000, supporting students, teachers, and activities that make our region stronger. Highmark Credit Union, banking that gives back. We'll make it happen. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and beyond suffer a setback, Monument Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Clear skies tonight with lows around 51. Winds out of the west 5 to 10 miles per hour. Highs around 80 tomorrow. Ample sunshine expected. Clear skies tomorrow night. Lows around 53. Ample sunshine and dry Thursday and Friday. Low 80s. Thursday mid 80s by Friday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 68.
It's time to hit the court at the Wautiki Fall Hoop Fest, November 7th through the 9th at the Box Elder Event Center. 3 days of non-stop basketball action as teams battle it out for bragging rights and glory. Divisions for boys and girls, grades 5th through 10th. Bring your game, bring your team, and bring the energy. And when the game's over, celebrate with special Courtyard by Marriott room rates that include Wautiki Water Park passes for even more fun. Don't sit on the sidelines. Register your team today at thebox.live.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger? Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
I want to go back where we didn't have to discuss robot umpire strike zones, where we actually had some fun, some emotion, some human element. We don't challenge everything in football. We have all these things we can't challenge, but now we're going to challenge balls and strikes next year in Major League Baseball. I'm in the minority against it. What do you say? 605-720-1067 across South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Is it important for Major League Baseball to have the new balls and strikes challenge system with the automated strike zone next year? They're putting it into place. 65% of you so far say yes, it's important for the game. Matthew Collar's on tonight. Vikings get a big win. Huge defensive game. Man, I was watching that thing. It was just unreal. Vikings jumped all over the Bengals. Vikes are 2-1. Some interesting things, though. J.J. McCarthy's down. Carson Wentz is in. Vikings going overseas. Matthew Collar covering it. PurpleInsider.com. Matthew, welcome in. How are you?
Oh, I wouldn't be covering the Vikings if there weren't questions about the quarterback position, right? So, you know what? I guess I would describe it as I'm in a comfortable spot. I've been in the same spot, it feels like, many times when we've talked, Nate.
That is right. And you have some reporting on this at Purple Insider. What I'm seeing is, are the Vikings going to have to consider what to do if Carson Wentz and the Vikings play well over the next 2 weeks? Is that a real thing?
Oh, very much so, yeah. I mean, Kevin O'Connell was really non-committal when it came to naming J.J. McCarthy the locked-in QB1, and, a lot of people have said to me, well, what's he supposed to say? And I guess I would say if Andy Reid was asked who his QB1 is in Kansas City, would there be any question? So I think that with the way that J.J. McCarthy played against Atlanta and how much he struggled and the fact that he got hurt, and part of that, I know that it was on a run play, but he got banged up in that game by being hit, holding on to the ball too long. And then Carson Wentz comes in, and he plays quarterback a lot like we saw from Sam Darnold last year, only he was even getting rid of the ball faster and completing a lot of underneath passes and keeping the offense going on longer drives. And, is it really exactly the way that Kevin O'Connell wants the quarterback position to be played and how he designed the offense for this year? And even if, J.J. McCarthy still is considered the future by Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings, you have to also consider that this team spent more money in free agency than anyone in the NFL this year. They did that to win. They didn't do that to just develop a quarterback. If they were a franchise that was looking 2-3 years down the road, sure, that would be fine if they were the Tennessee Titans, but they're not. They have expectations of going into the playoffs and winning, and even though it's kind of strange and we didn't expect to be here, if Carson Wentz is the best guy that gives them the chance to win, they're probably going to stick with him. But how long that lasts, I guess we'll find out.
Okay, so that's my question is, what does Carson Wentz have to do to keep the spot? And then is there anything that J.J. McCarthy can do if Wentz and the Vikings win to get the spot?
I don't think that there's anything that J.J. McCarthy can do to get back on the field if the Vikings are winning. I mean, if Carson Wentz is doing enough, even if a lot of the wins do end up kind of relying on a really strong defense, a running game that has suddenly emerged for them around Jordan Mason, if Wentz is keeping the train on the tracks, if he isn't making big mistakes, if he's getting the ball to Justin Jefferson, which was a pretty big struggle for J.J. McCarthy in those first two games, if that's happening, then there's no reason to go back to J.J. McCarthy. I mean, the long term is what everybody wants to think about and Vikings fans want to think about. But you have to consider that if you're on that coaching staff, if you're the owner of the team, if you're the general manager, you have to consider that winning now matters a lot to your owners and to your bosses, and they don't go back when they, put it on Pro Football Reference what your record was and put a little asterisk that says you were developing a quarterback this year. It's totally fine if you only won 6 games. So I think that this team probably has to stay with Wentz as long as it's continuing to work. I guess the question that I would have is, what is the definition of not working, right? I mean, if Wentz has a couple bad games in a row, does that mean all of a sudden we're going to see, J.J. McCarthy back in, or would they ride it out with Wentz because they really think that McCarthy was too far behind? There's a lot of questions that I think have to answer themselves with the results more than anything.
Yeah, that's interesting. So NFL's week by week, Matthew, it is, but Falcons loss. Does that Falcons loss look bad now, seeing what the Falcons just did this week?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it, like Green Bay lost to Cleveland. There's lots of things from a week to week where it's really hard to weigh how much does that really mean. But I do think it has to at least be in the back of our minds, right, that if the Carolina Panthers can put up 30 points against that team, it's a little more damning to J.J. McCarthy and how much he struggled. And I know, like, all McCarthy lovers and, people who believe in him long term, they're all going to say, well, Christian Darrisaw wasn't in and, Jordan Addison wasn't in and all that sort of stuff. But isn't that the NFL all the time? I mean, there's always players coming and going and in and out. You have to find a way to do even the bare minimum. And if we think about that Falcons game, I mean, they really should have won the game if they got any offense at all. The Falcons had 12 points in the fourth quarter of that game. You expect, if you're Kevin O'Connell, your quarterback, to move the ball enough and not take all the sacks that he did, not have the interceptions that he had, and so forth. And I think that this team can really win a lot of games if the quarterback just doesn't give the ball away and doesn't have massively negative plays, because when you watch how good their defense has been over the first 3 weeks, you kind of see that they can play almost in a way that San Francisco played a couple years ago when they had Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think all of that stuff has to be factored into the equation for them.
PurpleInsider.com. That's the site for Vikings fans, run by Matthew Collar. He's live on the Nate Brown Show across South Dakota tonight. Do you think Carson Wentz and the Vikings can win big games with Carson Wentz? I mean, he had a solid game. I don't know. I mean, I've seen him quite a bit. He's been hopping around. Can he win big games?
Yeah, that's really the question. The thing is that the opinion here is probably colored by what we saw last year, which was Sam Darnold. And I know it fell apart at the very end, but Sam Darnold throughout the regular season last year won a lot of big games for the Vikings, including 2 of them against the Green Bay Packers and their Week 17 game, which ended up being kind of the peak of the season. But that's very much yet to be determined. Just because Sam Darnold did it last year doesn't necessarily mean or prove that Carson Wentz is going to be able to do it. And, yeah, you're right. I mean, the Bengals are not a great team. They're not a great defense. I thought strategically it was one of the more vanilla game plans that I've seen against the Vikings, which made it a lot easier for him. And yet, at the same time, 11 of his 14 completions were thrown under 2.5 seconds. That means he's taking the snap, he's seeing the field, he's getting the ball out. And if he does that, they have so many good playmakers. I mean, you saw T.J. Hawkinson. There was a couple plays where it was just great timing between Wentz and Hawkinson. If he does that, O'Connell is always saying, play point guard, play point guard. Well, that's what he means, right? And that's why I think that they were looking at the J.J. McCarthy start as concerning, is because he wasn't getting rid of the ball. In fact, from snap to release, he was the second slowest in week 2 in the entire NFL, which to me, the biggest concern there would be if McCarthy can't get rid of the ball and he's taking sacks all the time and he's having to scramble all the time, well, what does that lead to, and what did it lead to? An injury. And the last thing you want from J.J. McCarthy is to have this stop-and-start career, which is kind of the same thing we saw from Trey Lance, where he would flash a little bit and he'd get in there and then he'd get hurt and then he's out. How can you develop when you're injured? So I think, I've been saying Vikings fans have to prepare themselves for the reasonable possibility that they're watching a lot of Carson Wentz. At the same time, is it crazy if McCarthy comes back after the bye week? Of course not. I think the direction is going to be dictated by how these next couple of games go.
Jake Browning was the QB, Matthew, so I get it, but the Vikings defense was really good. Isaiah Rodgers, pick 6, forced fumble, touchdown, another forced fumble. Did we think Isaiah Rodgers was this good?
Oh, I totally predicted that. Don't go looking for that anywhere. No, of course. I mean, of course, that's one of the all-time great halves of football that anyone's played since somebody decided to blow up a pigskin and kick it around. I mean, that is unbelievable what he was able to do in that game. It's never been done before with the 2 fumbles forced and the 2 touchdowns. At the same time, this team was really high on Isaiah Rodgers. I mean, they talked him up from the time that they signed him all the way through a training camp and the beginning of the season. They have been extremely pleased that they were able to get him. He was a guy that Brian Flores scouted and identified years ago that he wanted because he was from the Boston area. And, Flores rooted there with the Patriots. And I think we have figured out why he liked him so much. But this was also a guy that was in a part-time role with the Philadelphia Eagles, helped them win the Super Bowl, played in the playoffs, but just didn't get a whole lot of shine because their D-line was so good, and here he is making plays. I think he's more than just a flash in the pan, though. I think the play that impressed me the most was T. Higgins going down the sideline one-on-one with Rodgers, and he went up and broke the pass up. That was really impressive. And that's something that you could do on a week-to-week basis, a little more than return 2 touchdowns, which, if that happens one other time all year long, it would be shocking, right? So I do think, even though this was an aberration of a crazy situation like somebody hitting 4 home runs on 4 at-bats in a baseball game, it was a sign of a player who is ascending for this team.
Okay, they go overseas, 7:30 Mountain Time, start in the morning, 8:30 Central. Steelers this week. What do you think of Aaron Rodgers matching up against this defense?
I think Aaron Rodgers really, really struggled with Brian Flores' defense last year, the way that he wants to play. But what I'm really curious about is the way that Arthur Smith wants to play, which seems to be to really limit the amount of things that Aaron Rodgers has to do. Like Rodgers in his heyday would stand back there in the shotgun, and he'd read the defense, and then he'd scramble around and fire it into a tight window. That guy is gone. That guy can't be here anymore. He's really playing a lot more like Ryan Tannehill actually did when he was with Arthur Smith, where it's a lot of play action. They're building off of the run. And so I think the Vikings' ability to stop the run will make a huge difference here. And then tackling DK Metcalf. They have taken a really smart approach of just getting the ball into the hands of DK Metcalf, and he is a house to bring down. So I think the tackling will have a huge deal with this. But Rodgers is more of a game-managing type of quarterback now, and I actually think that over these first couple weeks, he's done a pretty good job of being a game manager. So the Vikings obviously will not be overlooking a guy who has destroyed them on so many occasions, but it's not the same player that it used to be.
Vikings, Steelers overseas early in the morning on Sunday, and then another one coming up with the Browns, and the Vikings will stay over there. Matthew Collar covering the Vikings at PurpleInsider.com for great coverage. Matthew, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. Thanks, Nate.
Appreciate you. Matthew Collar from PurpleInsider.com. Vikings coverage live from the Twin Cities. Find him on X if you're not following him, at Matthew Collar. That's where you'll find him. And his newsletter and site is PurpleInsider.com. Listener text coming in on the Vikings. Listener text. The Vikings are all the way back. The Vikings are all the way back. I think that was a little tongue-in-cheek. So I've got a Vikings question of the day coming up, dealing with this Carson Wentz situation here. And I have a feeling in this part of the country where we're at, the Dakotas, that there's going to be some Carson Wentz bias here. A little bit. I've got a question of the day. Hang on. We'll go to Brian Noe next from Las Vegas. He covers the NFL. His show is Countdown to Kickoff right here on every Sunday on Fox Sports Radio. Brian Noe and his Tuesday appearance on the Nate Brown Show next.
This is the Nate.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Renewal Anderson Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best, and they feel the difference every day.
Very happy with it. Very, very happy. I don't get tired of looking at them. And it's so nice with the breeze now, opening the windows, the ease of sliding the windows back and forth. Notice that it is warmer in the winter time, and it is cooler when the sun is shining in.
Renewal by Anderson Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
Hey, welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio, Tuesday edition of the Nate Brown Show. Glad you're here. Stream us on X right now, at Nate Brown Show. Follow the show and watch us live on your phone on X, at Nate Brown Show. Welcome in. Good stuff tonight with Scott Pianowski coming up, Major League Baseball writer, Yahoo Sports. Major League Baseball should be counting down to the postseason, where my Cubbies are in for the first time in 5 years, and I think I might have won like a pizza and beer on this. They're going to beat the Tigers in the record category. Am I right? Well, my Cubbies, I think they've lost 3 straight, though, but we're in. Scott Pianowski's coming up talking Major League Baseball automated strike zone challenge system is going to be implemented. They just announced it today for next season. That's coming up. Brian Noah's on a Tuesday on the Nate Brown Show. The show is Countdown, and I heard him this weekend. He said Countdown to Kickoff. So it's back. Countdown to Kickoff, getting you set for the NFL, college football as well. Fox Sports Radio's Brian Noah. Brian, how are you?
I'm good, Nate. Yeah, I'm glad you were listening, man. You had your listening ears on. You were hashtag supporting the show. I love it. Yeah, so kickoff is back, football being back, so I guess kickoff is back in the title. So
okay.
Here we go.
I listen closely. I catch stuff like that. Countdown to Kickoff on Fox Sports Radio. So before we get to NFL, you need to give me your read on Major League Baseball implementing the automated strike ball challenge system all season long. They're going to start it next season. They're going to be able to challenge every ball and strike as long as they keep getting it right. And it's powered by T-Mobile. I've never seen a change to a game be powered, be sponsored, but it's very interesting. So you tell me that this is going to work.
Isn't the new, virtual measurement brought to us by Taco Bell? Do I have that wrong, Nate? I thought that's no. Yeah, it's kind of interesting where, they've got a sponsorship tied to it. But, hey, man, I've said this from the beginning. As long as it's quick, I'm fine with it. If, there's a pitch that's outside, especially an important pitch, and the hitter is like, that's a ball. Challenge that. And it takes, a couple of seconds, and it was a ball. He was right. And on with life, I'm fine with that. It's just got to be quick. It's got to be painless. I don't think anybody objects to the tennis challenge system. They've got it cranked up so well. We all love that because it's fast. So if they have it fast in MLB, I'm totally fine with it.
Okay, here's the slippery slope that I don't like. This is going to go to a full-on automated strike ball system. It's going to go full on. I don't know how many years, but that's what's going to happen here. And then you're not going to have any umps making any calls.
I'm okay with that, too. Screw the umps. You can't get it right, you don't belong. I don't know what to tell you. If they can get it where it's cranked up and it's fast enough, and it's not this weird feel, this electronic feel, it's got to feel like baseball still. But if they have it where it's, you don't even really notice the change, and you just have this system in place, and it's pretty much painless. As long as it's painless, I'm fully on board.
It's got to feel like baseball. It's powered by T-Mobile. Anyway, okay, I gotta get your read on this. So no strikes, balls being challenged if you get it wrong. There's two challenges. So then if you get a couple wrong, then you don't have it. So then you are going to have people still complaining because you burned up your challenges, and now somebody's going to make a bad call in the 8th and 9th inning, and we're still going to complain about it. So my point is, I don't know if it's going to fix stuff. The umps have gotten 94% right. Is that good enough for you? 94% right this year.
Not good enough, Nate. If it could be better, then let's crank the screws up here. You watch these games, I've seen many calls where, it's the bottom of the 9th inning. This is a crucial at-bat, and there's a strikeout because the ball is outside. That's not good enough. Sorry. So, yeah, 94 sounds great, but, man, that's 6%. Some of those calls that are missed. And that's the thing, man. I always say this when there are changes made in sports, whether it's replay or not. It's we're not seeking perfection, right? We're seeking something that's better. Right, so I always say that where, look, the bar shouldn't be perfection with the automated balls and strike system. We're just looking for something that's better than what we currently have. But I think that's what it turns into oftentimes. It's wait a minute, so you get two challenges. If you You mess one up, and then we're still going to complain. Yeah, of course, we're always going to find something to complain about. But is the system better? Is it? Are we up to 98%? Are we up to 100%? Is it incrementally better? I would never push back on something that's better. If it's better, give me better.
All right.
Who's going to turn down better?
Very interesting. Brian Noe getting a started Major League Baseball automated ball strike challenge system into place for next year. Let's go to the NFL. Last night, Ravens get beat. I had the Ravens winning that. A lot of people did. They were favored 4.5. Does this tell us that are the Ravens just not that team? I had them as that team. I'm a little concerned, just some of the ways they look and some of the key moments late in games. I don't know if they're that team.
Yeah, no, I hear you, Nate. These freaking Ravens, man. I'll tell you what, my record on countdown to kickoff would be better if I'd stopped picking these freaking Ravens over here. But listen, it's the thing I've always said about them in this current regime, right? I'm not talking about when they're winning Super Bowls with Joe Flacco or the 2000 Ravens with Ray Lewis. Like this iteration, they do not have the clutch gene. They don't have it. And we saw it again. It's the second game this season, 2 of 3 weeks, where the fourth quarter rolls around, and they absolutely wet themselves. I don't know what's going on with Derrick Henry. I love him as a running back. He's fumbled in every game this year. That's unacceptable. And the first week against Buffalo, when they still had a touchdown lead, last night against the Lions, when they're trying to scratch back in it and only down by 4 points, these are crucial turnovers. And like Lamar put up nice numbers until he was getting sacked 7 times and looked like a deer in headlights. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they just don't have the clutch gene. And now it's infiltrated into the regular season. They normally save this act for the postseason when games truly matter, and they can't get it done. So they're just that team, man. Incredibly talented. But there's just like this mental block. We talk about it in baseball with the yips. They have like the fourth quarter clutch yips. They cannot get over that hump. And until it's like they have to win a huge game or a huge playoff game to finally get over that and really believe they can get there. But they're kind of like your Cubs for so many postseasons, right? Where they just have this feel where it's like, oh, no, it's happening again. That's the way they play in the fourth quarter so many times.
All right. Would you have done what the Giants did today? Jackson Dart's in, Russell Wilson's out.
I don't have an issue with it. Like the whole thing is, if the Giants are being completely honest with themselves and they think they aren't putting Jackson Dart in the deep end before he's ready to at least tread water. You know what I mean? And he looked really good in the preseason. They see him more in practice, and they have a better sense of, hey, is this kid, we're not expecting perfection. He's a rookie quarterback, so he's going to learn on the job and take his lumps, but is he at least advanced enough where he's probably not going to develop these bad habits that are going to be hard to break? And they've got to honestly answer that question and not be, swayed by Russell Wilson in a horrible goal line situation where he's throwing it to the hot dog vendor a couple of times. It's just brutal, right? Like, you can't be swayed by Russell Wilson in this whole process. Look at Anthony Richardson with the Colts. You know what I mean? Like, they ruined that guy, and he ruined the Colts. They're terrible for each other, but the point is, Anthony Richardson was never ready to start year one, and they started him week 1. And so now it's week 4 with Jackson Dart, and I know it's a disaster with Russ, and the team is winless, and, man, everybody's chanting for Dart, and we want Dart. You just can't put a rookie in a position to develop bad habits. So if they can honestly look at the situation and say, we think he's ready, and we don't think he's going to be developing these bad habits because he's just not ready, and this is wishful thinking 101. If they can honestly say, hey, we think he's ready, yeah, he's going to make some mistakes, but he's not going to be developing bad habits left and right that are going to be so hard to break. If they can honestly answer that, yes, he's ready, then throw him in there.
Jackson Dart thrown in against the Chargers, by the way, which maybe isn't great. Brian Noe is on tonight, countdown to kickoff host on Fox Sports Radio. What would you do if you're the Vikings, Brian? Carson Wentz plays okay. Vikings defense off the charts. Bengals looked bad with Jake Browning. If the Vikings keep winning, is this Carson Wentz's job if they keep winning?
No, absolutely not. Definitely not. It's like you drafted J.J. McCarthy in the top 10 for a reason. This is Carson Wentz's 6th team in 6 years, right? Like, we can't forget about that because they beat the Jake Browning Bengals, you know? Like, Carson Wentz is not taking you to the promised land, and there's at least a better chance, a possibility that J.J. McCarthy could. So we can't close the book on J.J. McCarthy because of 7 bad quarters, right? He didn't play well in most of the 2 games that he started in, and that's alarming. And it does make J.J. McCarthy look even worse that, you know, the week prior they're scoring 6 points against the Falcons, who got shut out by the Panthers 30-0, and then here comes Wentz, and they're blowing the doors off the Bengals 48-10. Like, that whole thing is the perfect storm to make McCarthy look even worse than he did the first 2 weeks. So it's not great. It's not picturesque what's going on over there. But, yeah, they've got to put J.J. McCarthy back in there when he's ready because they're hoping he's their quarterback of the now and the future.
Wow.
And they at least know that Carson Wentz is not that guy.
You're solid on that. Vikings writer Matthew Collar was on before you, and he said the Vikings are going to stick with Carson Wentz if he's winning. He thinks they're going to stick with him.
Well, Matt's out of his mind. Unless they're winning 48-10 these next 2 or 3 weeks, like before J.J. McCarthy is ready to go, that's one thing. Sneak peek, they're not going to be doing that. They might win a few games. They're not going to win in dominant fashion like that. And I just can't imagine. Even if they win, it's a great question. It's tailor-made for sports radio. You know, hit me up on X. You know, let's tally up the votes and all that. But if they're winning, let's say they win 4 in a row with Carson Wentz. If J.J. McCarthy is ready, you put J.J. McCarthy back in there.
Wow.
Because Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz. You can't forget about that.
I've asked my audience this question of the day, and that's where we're going to go next. Brian Noe is in tonight. Countdown to Kickoff host on Fox Sports Radio, and his Miami Dolphins are going to make things even worse. They're going to come out in like some black uniforms. Have you seen this?
Man, I don't think anything can get worse than 0-3, Nate. I think it's a step in the right direction. You know,
dark. It's dark right now.
The uniforms are the least of the Dolphins' problems over here, man. But I got to see them. I just can't. I can't make a judgment. Maybe you're better than me, but when I just see a screenshot or you show me a jersey, or I got to see it on the field.
Okay.
Like, that's my automated ball strikes situation. You know what I mean? I can read paragraphs of what it's going to look like and maybe be like. I got to see it and I got to feel it myself.
Okay.
And that's how I feel about the black jerseys. It might be freaking awful, but I got to see them on the field in those uniforms to be able to tell you if I hate them or if I like them.
They just released a video of your players dancing in the new uniform. So after this call, check it out and enjoy your Dolphins' new look. Dark times for the Dolphins. Brian Noe is on tonight. Follow him on X if you're not. Honestly, The Noe Show. Countdown to Kickoff host. You hear him right here on Fox Sports Radio every weekend. Brian, always appreciate it. Thanks.
Always great hanging with you, Nate. And I'll tell you what, the Dolphins don't make me dance, but the Nate Brown Show certainly does.
Book it. I love it. Brian Noe tonight. Try and get him every Tuesday on the Nate Brown Show across South Dakota on Fox Sports Radio. And, of course, he is on Saturdays and Sundays. Countdown to Kickoff host on Fox Sports Radio. All right, let's go to the question of the day. Question of the day is I go into the break, and I'll give you my read when I come back. If Carson Wentz wins, do you stay with Carson Wentz? And what do I mean by that? If he beats the Steelers this week, they're staying over there overseas. If he beats the Browns, the Vikings are 4-1. Do you stay with Carson Wentz? 605-720-1067.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. Our locally owned Ace stores are committed to helping our neighbors and our communities. And because we're in the neighborhood, we can deliver almost anything you need. So shop in store or online for whatever your home or yard needs. Choose from top brands like Milwaukee, Steel, Traeger, and Benjamin Moore. Then pick up in-store, curbside, or we'll deliver your order right to your home. Around the block, what you need in stock, with people who know how to help. See acehardware.com for details.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Clear skies tonight with lows around 51. Winds out of the west 5 to 10 miles per hour. Highs around 80 tomorrow. Ample sunshine expected. Clear skies tomorrow night. Lows around 53. Ample sunshine and dry Thursday and Friday. Low 80s. Thursday, mid 80s by Friday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 68.
Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer from Denny Menholt Toyota. Use your phone. It's fast and easy. Pull up our website, click on Value Trade-In, scan your VIN, and tell us about your car. You are on your way to a no-hassle, no-commitment cash offer on your vehicle in under 5 minutes. Bring your vehicle and your Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer to Denny Menholt Toyota and get cash or trade-in credit today. See you soon at Denny Menholt Toyota, Rapid City.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Great news. I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Hey, welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio. High Energy Tuesday. Vikings fans, what do you have to say to the question of the day tonight? Carson Wentz and the Vikes win. So now it's the Steelers overseas Sunday, 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain in the morning. And then you've got the Browns overseas the next week. If Carson Wentz and the Vikings win these games, they're 4-1. Then that was when JJ was going to come back, like after a few games here. Do you stick with Carson Wentz? My question of the day, 605-720-1067. Let's go to the phones. Thanks for getting in tonight. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm interested in what you have to say here.
Yeah, it's JJ's team, for sure. Like, I love Carson to death. I went to school in Fargo. Like, I'm a fan. But it's JJ's team. He's going to get us to where we need to go, and I'm very glad that we have a capable backup. But it's JJ's team.
Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna beat the Steelers by at least 20, and we have two really good tackles. And I'm not as worried about Myles Garrett as I probably should be. But Watching what Christian Darrisaw did to Trey Hendrickson last week was very encouraging for our offensive line.
It was big to have him back. Beating the Steelers by 20, I mean, then you lost me. I mean, you had me, McJudgerson, and then you lost me.
Hey, Isaiah Rodgers gets another pick six. Hey, that's 7 extra points, man.
All right. Appreciate you. It's JJ's team. Wow.
Couple other things.
Okay.
Couple other things. For baseball umpires,
okay,
they're not umpires. They're tyrants. Like, if you question a ball or a strike, they'll throw you out of the game. And they're ego driven, and like the Angel Hernandezes of the world.
Wow, that's a bad one. That's the worst one you could bring up.
Yeah, but they all make calls like that. So what I would be very interested to see, and keep track of this too, is with a little bit of accountability, so they can't just, like, if they don't like somebody, they call them out. With a little bit of accountability, does their accuracy go up?
Oh.
Like, that's what I'm curious to see.
Okay.
Like, if they don't just have impunity, if they're actually going to do their job like they should do.
They were 94% correct this year. 94%.
Yeah. Right, but like I said, have you ever watched some of the compilations of like where umpires position themselves?
Yeah, I've seen.
Some of them are really good. They're right behind the catcher's head. Some of them are like standing 2 feet off the plate and they're just guessing. So if the ones that are really terrible, I wonder if they adjust their mechanics a little bit.
All right, good stuff, man.
So, anyway, have a great day, man.
Thanks for getting in. I appreciate it. McJudgerson on the line tonight. You can be there if you want. 605-720-1067 on the Nate Brown Show. The question of the day, he hit 2 of them. He hit the baseball one, the automated strikes ball zone, and then the Carson Wentz situation here. So let me ask you that question of the day. If the Vikings win the next couple of games overseas, Carson Wentz is at QB. Do you start him over J.J. McCarthy? That's the question of the day. Okay, let's get to the text line. A lot of texts we got to get to. Of course you do. So we got some Carson Wentz fans coming on board here. Of course you do. Let me see what the poll question is resulting in. Listener reaction. Has to be context on how Wentz plays to make this decision. How does Wentz play? Well, you're usually not going to win if the QB doesn't play okay. I mean, in the NFL, you're usually not going to win if the QB doesn't play okay. So I understand what you're saying, but what would you say? Vikings win next couple of games. They're 4-1. Do you keep Carson Wentz starting at QB? 74% of the audience on the Nate Brown Show says, yes, keep Carson Wentz in. Is this show in Fargo, North Dakota? I mean, where are we at here? No, we're in South Dakota, but there's still a Carson Wentz bias. There's a Carson Wentz bias. I have a question for you guys. Can Carson Wentz take you to places that Sam Darnold could not? I mean, is that we have to think about the big picture here. You spent a major pick on J.J. McCarthy, and you can't just, we're going to sit him down now. This was the leader of the team, and now he got injured. I understand, but this is the leader of your offense. When he won that game against Chicago, everybody was juiced. Everybody was ready. And I understand he's had some downturns here. He's had some bad quarters. But you can't just bail for Carson Wentz. I mean, it's just everybody's like, the Vikings are 4-1. Maybe Carson Wentz can be what he was. No, he can't. I'm a little surprised. 74% keep Carson Wentz in. 26% you say McCarthy has to be the guy. Listener text, it's a big no on Carson Wentz. So we're a little split. 605-720-1067 is the Barron's Wilson text line. Listener text, Carson was able to put the Eagles in the Super Bowl years ago. Yeah, when was that? I was a lot younger. I can barely even remember that. That's not the Carson Wentz you've got now in Minnesota. But it's an interesting question, isn't it? 74% so far on the Nate Brown Show say stick with Carson Wentz. I can't believe it. You guys were telling me J.J. McCarthy, this is it. We got our guy. This is the guy. Even after the fourth quarter against the Bears, everybody here on the program, this is the guy. And now we've bailed on him, and Carson Wentz is going to take over for the Vikings. And by the way, the Vikings writer Matthew Collar was on tonight, and he told me if the Vikings win, there is a real quarterback conversation. I was a little surprised by that. He said, of course there is a conversation. If Wentz wins these next two games, there's going to be a big conversation about what to do. And he was saying he doesn't think that you can put J.J. back in. You have to. This is the Vikings franchise QB. Coming right back as we start the next hour, the FCS playoffs have been a little up and down. I like the playoffs because we play for a championship, South Dakota State, North Dakota State, and the like. But the FCS playoffs have been a money loser for schools. There's schools that don't even want to host games because you lose money. There's a story out today. The FCS playoffs could break away from the NCAA. We'll discuss next.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Renewal by Andersen Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best, and they feel the difference every day.
Very happy with it. Very, very happy. I don't get tired of looking at them. And it's so nice with the breeze now, opening the windows, the ease of sliding the windows back and forth. Notice that it is warmer in the wintertime, and it is cooler when the sun is shining in.
Renewal by Andersen Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
That's my husband, Mr. Fix-It.
I got it! I ain't got it.
I told him we needed replacement windows for our house.
I am man!
I told him rather than go to a do-it-yourself store, we should contact Renewal by Andersen because they only do windows. They're experts, no subcontractors.
Hey, honey, did you know our electricity runs through all these little metal pipes? And yow!
You okay?
Yeah.
Renewal by Andersen, hassle-free, energy-efficient, low-maintenance windows with a professional, perfect fit.
The hole needs to be just a little larger.
Keeping your home warm in the winter, cool in the summer with their Fibrex windows.
I had no idea we had this much insulation in our walls. Honey?
Yeah?
I think it's time we call Renewal by Andersen.
Good call, Mr. Fix-It.
For a perfect fit, call 605-341-7831. Renewal by Andersen of South Dakota. 605-341-7831.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
Welcome in. The Nate Brown Show is live. It's not automated yet. We don't do it automated. We call the balls and strikes right here on the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you making this show possible. We really do across the state. Remember, you can stream us on Midwest Sports Plus if you have the new high school sports streaming app. We're on Midwest Sports Plus, partnering up with Forum on that. Good stuff there. Find us on YouTube, our own channel, The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. Subscribe. You've got us the live show and the archive show. One more place on X. Watch the show live at Nate Brown Show on X. Second hour ready to go. Sam Herder's going to join us, FCS senior analyst for HeroSports.com. Sam Herder's on tap. Talking about this next story I'm going to get into. Plus, Scott Pianowski later tonight, National Major League Baseball writer for Yahoo Sports on the changes coming to baseball. Next season, if you're just getting in the car, next season, Major League Baseball is going to the full automated ball strike challenge system. Not just the automated strike zone for every call, but a challenge system from the batter, pitcher, or catcher. They get to challenge every pitch if they keep getting it right. So if the ump gets it wrong, the catcher can tap the helmet, hey, that was a strike. And then they challenge it, and it's up on the scoreboard, and then they go through that whole process. So I don't see how it's going to totally elevate the game, totally make everything great. It's just going to fix everything. I don't see it, and then I think it's a slippery slope. We head to the automated strike zone completely. And some people still argue with me on that that's what we need. We don't need any umps at all. I'm still an emotion guy in sports. I'm still a human element umpire guy in sports. And it's probably just because I'm the old guy yelling at the clouds. But I want emotion, humans, some mistakes. I don't need every call in basketball challenged in the final 2 minutes. It's off the pinky. It's off the fingernail. It was off this right. No, just call the game. All right. I don't want to get too wound up this early. We still got a lot of work to do on the Nate Brown Show. Let me get to the story out of the FCS. So South Dakota State, USD, North Dakota State, all these schools have made some runs lately in the FCS playoffs. Now, this story just came out that an entity with strong financial backing could take a look at owning the FCS playoffs. So how's this structured now? The FCS playoffs is a great playoff. I think it is. Some of the early games are bad. Some of the early games are no-name programs. I mean, around the country, you haven't heard of them. We don't have a clue. They're bad. They don't draw anything like this. But when it gets to the big boys at the end, the semis, the national title, the ratings have been good. I mean, there's some real stuff there, undervalued when it comes to how the FCS playoffs have done in the media landscape. Like, nobody makes any money off the FCS playoffs. It's really not much there. So that's why they're saying this outside entity could come in and essentially take ownership of it away from the NCAA. So the group would manage the FCS playoffs, they say in this story. I'm going to talk to Sam Herder. He's covering this for Hero Sports coming up. They would manage the FCS playoffs like the college football playoff is going now. You understand the college football playoff is not run and operated by the NCAA. The college football playoff is its own entity, and it's big money, huge money. Could this work for the FCS playoffs is what this idea is. And so they're saying maybe it's a private equity firm here, venture capitalist. So we're talking about some big groups coming in and funding the FCS playoffs, bringing some resources, and then they're going to want to get paid on the backside from the revenue generating. So I'm not a venture capitalist. I'm not a private equity expert. Okay, I don't know all the ins and outs of how much money could you make off the FCS playoffs. Here's my early look at this. Are the FCS playoffs reaching their potential? They are not. I mean, they put these games, some of these big games have been going up against the NFL. I mean, they've done some stupid stuff. And there's some margin there that you might be able to grab and some market share. If you're looking at, hey, I want to own the FCS playoffs. So I think privately running that's probably going to be better than the NCAA. Surprise, surprise. The NCAA does not care about the FCS playoffs. They're not trying to make money. They don't care. It doesn't feed the bulldog. They're focused on the men's basketball tournament. That's it. And they just hope that these other championships go okay. They haven't went after aggressive media deals and the whole thing. They really haven't. So it's underperforming. I will say that the FCS playoffs, to me, from a media standpoint, promotional standpoint, national branding, underperforming. But I do have some questions. Are most of the FCS playoffs really valuable? Or is it what I just told you, the semifinals, the national championship? Those are valuable to me. You can make some money off those media deals. There's some real numbers there. You get into the millions of people watching now in the national championship and some of the big brands in the semis. That's real stuff. But what are you going to do with the early games that lose money from the NCAA? Would private equity be able to make money off that? Would they be able to make that better? I don't know if people are going to care about watching Mercer. I mean, that's not a brand that, hey, we got to watch Mercer in the quarterfinals. So I don't know how much of ceiling is there. I don't know the room that you can grow this. You can grow the big boy rounds, the big brand rounds. Can you elevate it all the way through? Like private equity is going to pump money into this. They're going to run it privately. They're going to say, we're going to make money off this. Can you with some of these programs in the FCS that are afterthoughts? The schools themselves don't care. They don't care about their football team, a lot of these schools. So then this private equity firm takes over the FCS playoffs, so they're expecting, hey, people are going to care about the first round game at Villanova. Nobody cares. Let's ask Sam Herder. He's in on this. Could the FCS playoffs change and be privately run? HeroSports.com FCS senior analyst Sam Herder's in next.
This is South Dakota's Sports.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Renewal by Andersen Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best, and they feel the difference every day.
Very happy with it. Very, very happy. I don't get tired of looking at them. And it's so nice with the breeze now, opening the windows, the ease of sliding the windows back and forth. Notice that it is warmer in the wintertime, and it is cooler when the sun is shining in.
Renewal by Andersen Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I see new models of stand-up and teardrop campers on your lot.
Yes, you do. We're proud to feature the new SGC Armor line of campers from Bontrager Outdoor.
Suspension these campers have? Wow, so impressive.
All our campers come standard with the off-road package. Bontrager and Armor just ramped boondocking up another notch. And right now, you'll get the best price all year on these 2026 ultra-light, ultra-beefy, option-loaded campers and teardrops.
You gotta check out these new look campers, people. The new designs are fantastic, and so many options for their size.
And so many options for towing. No need for a diesel or a big truck. These only weigh around 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, so they can be towed by almost any rig.
Check out these new 2026 Bontrager and SGC Armor campers, everyone. See AnytimeAnytime.com, and as always at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Weekday afternoons. Appreciate you being here. Coming up, Scott Pianowski's on tonight. Major League Baseball writer, Yahoo Sports. Big change coming to Major League Baseball next season. We'll get into it. Scott Pianowski. Take a look at the postseason as well. Getting ready for October. My Cubbies are in. I'm ready. Cubbies are in. Where are they going to be? Where are they going to play? Scott Pianowski is coming up. Yahoo Sports. Let's go to the FCS with FCS senior analyst Sam Herder. Love to have him on. Great FCS coverage. Herosports.com. Find him on X at Sam Herder FCS. Sam, welcome on again. How are you?
Doing good. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it, man. So I want to jump into this this story about potential interest in an outside entity maybe looking at taking over the FCS playoffs. This would be like, we've heard of this private equity stuff entering college sports in other ways, partnering with even athletic departments. Like, hey, we'll pump some money in, and we're going to want to invest in this and make money on the backside. Do you think this is legit? I'll start there. The FCS playoffs getting taken over by an outside group.
Well, it's legit in the sense that, it's a legit pitch that's being made this week if it hasn't been made already to commissioners. And if this is something that commissioners had absolutely no interest in doing, they wouldn't add this to their meeting agenda. So I definitely think there is intrigue there. There's interest there. There's a certain level of excitement there as well. And the group that is making this pitch, it isn't some random billionaire hedge fund or some, overseas money lord, that just wants a piece of American football. This is someone that commissioners know, ADs know. It's someone who works, in the on the business side of college athletics, and so there is some familiarity there and comfort there with who is making this pitch. Whether they want to go ahead and do this, we'll have to see. I couldn't say confidently if it is going to happen or if it isn't going to happen, but it's certainly a legit pitch that commissioners are at least intrigued with at this point.
Here's what I just did in a segment about this. I said the FCS playoffs from a revenue standpoint, from a branding standpoint, a marketing standpoint, I think the FCS playoffs have underperformed. So I think there's more value here than people have realized. However, I think it's mainly in the semis, in the national championship, the big brands. Is a private company going to be able to revenue generate off of no-name first-round games that a lot of people don't know of?
Maybe not as much, but I think they're looking at more of a macro sense of view. And this group they view the FCS playoffs as something that's really strong and a really good thing that the FCS has going. But then they look at how it's monetized and they go, there's way more money to be made out of the FCS playoffs. And us as a group, with the capital that we have, we can inject some of this capital into the FCS playoffs. We could oversee it, we could finance it, and we can run, not only, operationally how the bracket works and all that, but we can also go out and monetize this better. We can, get better branding. We can get better sponsorships because right now, the FCS playoffs, there isn't really a set number on how much it's worth, right? It's just the FCS playoffs are just lumped into one big TV deal along with volleyball and baseball and women's basketball. And so there isn't necessarily a push from within the NCAA to say, can we get a sponsor for the semifinal rounds? Can we get the FCS playoffs sponsored by whoever? Can we get a sponsor for the FCS title game? And, other ways to really maximize revenue. And so, there's definitely the first and second rounds, games. There sometimes isn't always a great crowd, but I think they just look at overall the TV numbers that the quarterfinals, semifinals, championship gets and go and look at how things are financed and go, we could do a whole lot better and not only return a profit for us, but also make this more financially incentivizing for conferences and teams themselves to move into this new model, this new financial model for the FCS playoffs.
A new private group making a bid here, a presentation to maybe take over the FCS playoffs. The college football playoff right now is not run by the NCAA, so they run their own thing. And maybe the FCS would benefit off this, and these schools would benefit off this. What's the downside of it? Private company or whatever, private group running the FCS playoffs. What do you think commissioners have to look at here? What's the downside?
Yeah, there's a few downsides or question marks, cons, concerns, however you want to phrase it. One is just, do you want to, do you want to go down this road? And whether, I don't know for sure if this is an LLC, if it's private equity, if it's venture capital, how exactly that is defined as far as where this money is coming from, but whatever the case may be, there might be some commissioners that, they don't want to sell their soul to the devil, so to speak, and go all in on this just for the sake of money. At the same time, I think some of that tension is eased because, like I said, the person who is kind of at the forefront of this, it's a recognizable name. There's a level of comfort there. So I think that is a question mark and certainly a concern of, do you want to go down this path of kind of selling your property or whatever you want to call it for money. So that is one angle to it. I also think TV exposure, TV media deal. It would be not ideal, obviously, if you do go this route and all of a sudden the TV deal and the national TV exposure you get is reduced. I don't necessarily think that would happen in this case, but you never know. Right now, the FCS playoffs does have a good thing with ESPN and ESPN2 and ABC, and you don't want to run the risk of, you're getting more money by being in the playoffs, but you're getting less exposure. That's a risk that potentially could happen. Although I feel like if the commissioners go ahead and they're not going to move on this and make a decision this week, but if overall this is something they want to move ahead on, that is no doubt a part of the presentation that they're going to want to know about is what is the TV deal going to look like. And then the third thing to mention real quick is just the long-term outlook of this, right? Is there a term on this? Is there a 6-year quote-unquote deal where this group is going to fund things and kind of run the FCS playoffs, and after 6 years, what happens then? If they say, we're actually not getting quite amount of the return on investment on this as we thought, and so we're going to opt out, after our 6-year term is done, well, then what happens? Is it easy to just morph it back into the NCAA umbrella for the FCS playoffs, or would it put the FCS playoffs in no man's land? So again, that's another question mark I have, and I'm sure it's part of the this pitch and the questions commissioners have of how do we, if we move forward with this, how do we get it out of the NCAA umbrella. And if, for whatever reason, this is something that after 6, 7, 8 years you no longer want to do, then what happens? And so I think that the long-term outlook is also a con of how exactly this would all shake out.
Sam Herder on tonight, HeroSports.com, FCS senior analyst. Do you think the NCAA would really care about, hey, we got to hang on to this. We want this. Maybe they do. They run championships for D2, D3. They're worried about the men's basketball tournament. I mean, that's really where their worried lies. Would they care about this?
Yes and no. There's certainly some people within the NCAA that really value the FCS, that work with the FCS playoffs and really enjoy it and do want to push it forward and maximize it and all that. But at the end of the day, it is all under the umbrella of the NCAA and the basketball tournament, and the men's basketball tournament is the crown jewel. And now the women's basketball tournament is getting there as well. And so I've heard that potentially the NCAA may be interested in outsourcing the FCS playoffs to a third party. There would probably be some sort of exchange or like a guarantee amount or something like that, because there is there is value. There still is a TV dollar value in the FCS playoffs. And so if the FCS playoffs did go out from, they're no longer under the umbrella of the NCAA, that would potentially impact the TV deal that ESPN has overall with ESPN. And so there still is value there. But I don't necessarily think this is something where the NCAA is going to be holding on to the FCS playoffs for dear life. Again, they have a lot of things, they have a lot of things, they have a lot of other things that they're focused on that aren't the FCS playoffs. And so if a group can come in and run things smoothly and run things ethically, and it's something that ADs and commissioners and school presidents say, this is something that's legit and we feel very comfortable about it, and they approach the NCAA about how do we go about moving forward with this, the NCAA is not going to be necessarily like, have at it. Like, there's going to be a little give and take here, but I don't necessarily foresee the NCAA having a stranglehold of it. I think there could be potentially a smooth process if this does go forward, and it might not even go forward. Right? So, like, this might be something that the commissioners and presidents and ADs decide that it's a good pitch, and but we're comfortable with where we're at. And if anything, if it doesn't move forward, maybe this kind of kicks the NCAA in the butt a little bit more and says, maybe we undervalued the FCS playoffs, and there's other groups that are interested in the FCS playoffs, but the FCS is sticking with us as the NCAA, and so let's take it upon us as the NCAA to maybe put more resources into the FCS playoffs. So overall, I don't really see how just the pitch itself is a negative. What all unfolds, we'll see what comes of it. But overall, I think it's, I have concerns, but I have a lot more optimism and excitement than concerns right now.
Really interesting story today. Sam Herder joining us, FCS senior analyst for HeroSports.com. Will private entity take over the FCS playoffs? And by the way, if they do, they're going to want to make some money. I know they want to make some money as well. Okay, let's go to the FCS football games. I got one on my mind here I want you to read. USD has competed and taken down North Dakota State. USD has struggled this year. What do you think about this matchup at the Fargo Dome Saturday?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if, how much confidence the Yotes have gotten after their Drake performance, where they won pretty handily, and maybe that just could be a launching point of a little more continuity and kind of operating at a higher level, more efficient level, because the offense, with the defense actually, I think has played pretty well for the most part, except for the Iowa State game. But offensively, it just seemed like something had been missing, and maybe things all kind of gelled together there with the Drake performance. But I do think with going to NDSU, who I imagine is probably going to have some revenge on its mind. The Bison are coming off of a bye week. You just feel like when NDSU is totally focused in on one game, they're very hard to beat. And so I think it's probably going to be more competitive than what we thought 2 weeks ago. But I know the Yotes have beat NDSU 2 times in a row now as far as the regular season. But I do think most people would be rather surprised if USD was able to go to the Bison's place and get a win on Saturday.
Yotes take on the Bison Saturday in the Fargo Dome. How about South Dakota State? They play Mercyhurst. People are trying to tell me Oh, Mercyhurst, yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad. What's the real deal?
Yeah, they're better. They're much better than they were last year. This is now their second year in Division I, and they upgraded their talent. They got good size. I like their quarterback, Lefty, who's a smaller guy, but he gets the ball out of his hands quick, and they do a lot of crossing routes, and they just really find a way to find some windows in a zone defense to keep on moving the chains. And they've been competitive. They had a decently competitive game against Youngstown State earlier this year. Then they went to Sacramento State and actually had a lead in that game in the second quarter before Sac State pulled away. And then last week they go to Montana State, so they're traveling all across the country. They go to Bozeman, and it looks like they're about to get boat raced because it's 17-0 at halftime. But then the final score ends up being 17-0 at the end of the game, where they just kind of hung around and played pretty well defensively. So I would imagine this has South Dakota State's attention, especially after coming off of a bye week and the Jacks kind of having a choppy performance against Drake. And at the same time, I mean, you got Mercyhurst, who goes to Youngstown, to Sac State, to Montana State. Like I have to imagine they're running on fumes at this point, just with their travel and the physicality, the physical teams they're playing. So maybe South Dakota State gets them, on a good week, and I expect a pretty crisp performance and a dominant performance by South Dakota State.
HeroSports.com is the site for the FCS coverage from senior analyst Sam Herder in tonight on the Nate Brown Show. Sam, always appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on. Sam Herder. Interesting story out today. FCS playoffs could get some interest, and there's a pitch being made to the FCS conference commissioners, about a private entity taking over ownership of the FCS playoffs. They're run by the NCAA right now. HeroSports.com, Sam Herder on tonight. Let's go to the Major League Baseball story of the day. Big change coming to Major League Baseball next season. Scott Pianowski's covered Major League Baseball a long time. What's Scott's read from Yahoo Sports writer next?
This is the Nate Brown Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Stock up and save on the toughest filters in the business during Wix Filters sale days at your local Auto Value Parts store. Not only will you get the best deal of the season on our very best filters, but you'll also find deep discounts on oil, fluids, grease, batteries, and more. Upgrade your filters during Wix Filters sale days at your local Auto Value Parts store. See store for official sale dates. Auto Value. We've got the parts. We've got the smarts.
Are you thinking about starting or expanding a business? At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, our dedicated business lending team focuses on understanding our members' unique needs and truly wants to help them succeed. From the loans to get your business off the ground to the accounts to keep it running, we offer unique products with your business's best interest in mind. Learn more at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is a member-owned, not-for-profit.
As summer winds down, the savings are just heating up at Spearfish Motors. We've stocked up on pre-owned trucks, from hard-working heavy-duty diesels to light-duty pickups that fit every budget. Need an SUV for your fall adventures? We've got a great selection. Every size, every budget, and price below market. All locally sourced, locally trusted, and backed by the hometown team you know. Don't let summer end without a great deal. Visit Spearfish Motors today or shop anytime at SpearfishMotors.com.
That's my husband, Mr. Fix-It.
I got it! I ain't got it.
I told him we needed replacement windows for our house.
I am man!
I told him rather than go to a do-it-yourself store, we should contact Renewal by Andersen because they only do windows. They're experts, no subcontractors.
Hey, honey, did you know our electricity runs through all these little metal pipes? And yow!
You okay?
Yeah.
Renewal by Andersen, hassle-free, energy-efficient, low-maintenance windows with a professional, perfect fit.
The hole needs to be just a little larger.
Keeping your home warm in the winter, cool in the summer with their Fibrex windows.
I had no idea we had this much insulation in our walls. Honey?
Yeah?
I think it's time we call Renewal by Anderson.
Good call, Mr. Fix-It.
For a perfect fit, call 605-341-7831. Renewal by Anderson of South Dakota. 605-341-7831.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
All right, welcome back. The Nate Brown Show live on Fox Sports Radio across South Dakota. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. If you missed parts of the show, we talked a lot of Vikings tonight, some Carson Wentz, J.J. McCarthy, question of the day action going on. So go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. Every show is there on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. Wherever you get your podcast, search The Nate Brown Show. And then you've got South Dakota Sports Talk Show on demand. If you missed parts of the show live, we are live with Scott Pianowski joining us, Major League Baseball, Yahoo Sports. Postseason's coming, but leave it to Major League Baseball to throw out a big headline about next season where the automated ball strike challenge system will be implemented fully. Automated ball strike challenge system next season, every game. Scott, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. How are you?
I'm doing good. So you know baseball. I want to know where you stand on this. It's going to be a challenge system. They did it in spring training. I watched it. I didn't think it was terrible. So I'm not like a super fan of this, but I didn't think it was terrible. We're going to have challenges on balls and strikes, and teams can continue to do it if they keep getting it right. Do you think this is going to be a big elevation of the game?
I don't think it's going to be a big deal because, again, people have to understand it's a challenge system. It's not every pitch is automated. It's basically what you have in tennis, where a ball gets hit close to the line, one of the players throws up their hand, they do the replay, they show it, it's a nice little graphic, it's 5-10 seconds, you're in, you're out. The only thing I'm a little bit frustrated by is you think of like Adam Wainwright throwing the knee-buckling curveball to Carlos Beltran that ended the NLCS one year. It sent the Cardinals to the World Series. What's going to happen now is somebody's going to have a dramatic called strike 3 and the batter's going to challenge it, or somebody's going to, it's like, football, you want to see with overtime, you want to see like the touchdown in overtime wins the game. No, the other team has to possess the ball and all this stuff. I don't want to lose the moments because people, I used to always joke, like, what if Barry Bonds hit the 70th home run and the other team called for an appeal play just to, like, ruin the moment, right? You're going to see this classic called strike 3 to win a big playoff series, and the other team's going to say, we have nothing to lose, we might as well challenge it. It's going to kind of, step on the moment. But it's only going to happen a couple times per game. It's going to be really quick. It's going to be probably pretty seamless. So I don't think it's altogether all that big of a deal.
Okay, so here's where I think maybe some parameters on this. How about just on a called third strike on a ball 4? Why not just allow those? Is that too simple?
I wouldn't mind it. I think it's reasonable that if teams keep getting challenges right, they don't lose the opportunity to challenge. We've seen the NFL adopt that rule too. And by the way, kudos to the NFL. This whole replay assist thing where they can have guys upstairs, you say, look, something's wrong. Let's fix it immediately. Let's not stop the game. Let's not ruin the momentum. Let's not take away a challenge from a team. Let's just get this right immediately, right? The NFL has finally fixed that. For years, they had a system that didn't work, and it took all the energy out of the game and everything. And I've always said, Nate, if you just had like 5 or 10 reasonable people in a booth somewhere, and like you had to have 9 out of 10 people agree on anything, that would get you to the right answer so many of the times, because the whole key, again, Football's got it right now. Let replay assists iron out the obvious things, then the game doesn't get stepped on. I hope baseball can come up with something as seamless as that, because baseball as it is meticulous enough. The pitch clock has been really good for the game. I think the changes they've made with the base running and the pickoff throws, we see more stolen bases now. The shift rules that at least put a little bit more offense in the game. I think baseball has a lot of positive momentum. They have stars they can market right now. Obviously, Ohtani, Paul Skeens is an exciting player. There's some great stories going on, some great pennant races going on right now. I'd hate to see them lose it because they're missing the forest for the trees on some of these things.
Here's my one thing on this, Scott. Slippery slope here. This does lead to an automated strike zone and the earpiece and the ump, and they get told every call. This leads to that, no?
It could be. Baseball moves at such a glacier pace with so many things. I think that'd be something that would have to be tested wide scale, and then, they would take the temperature of the public on it. I still think if we're going to see complete automation of balls and strikes, I think that's a long way away. I think that may be 20 or 30 years away. I don't think it happens in this generation of baseball.
Scott Pianowski joining us, Major League Baseball, yahoosports.com. He's on X at Scott_Pianowski. Why do you think Major League Baseball announced it today? We're in the final week of the season. Pennant race is going on. I said, save this stuff for when nothing's going on.
Right. Yeah, this is a classic, December, January story, right? A hot stove story. And it shouldn't be stepping on, Kyle Raleigh. It shouldn't be stepping on Aaron Judge. It shouldn't be stepping on the pennant races. There's going to be a good team in the American League and the National League who won't make the playoffs. If the Tigers going to collapse, is Cleveland going to steal that division? What's going to happen in the American League West? The Mets are in peril right now. There's still a couple of divisions that could flip if maybe a series gets swept here or there. So there's some great stories, and that should be the focus. And it's just been, look, Rob Manfred has just played so many things wrong. He's played work stoppages wrong. He's played announcements wrong. He's played the tone of the game. He called the World Series trophy a piece of metal. I mean, if there's a tone to get wrong or timing to get wrong, I feel like Rob Manfred is going to just get that wrong every time.
I was going to say, I don't know why this came out today. Okay, let's get your take on a few of these teams. You went through some of the races. I'm going to ask you about my Cubbies because I want to know. Cubbies in the postseason for the first time since 2020. They've been playing well, and now lately they didn't score any runs against the Reds. How about the Cubs in the National League?
They need to get Kyle Tucker going. He was off to a great start. It's that one, see if you like it in Chicago. See if you want to stay. He's obviously a big free agent after the season. Then he's been hurt most of the second half. They need to get him going. Now, it's a chip in a chair in the playoffs. It doesn't necessarily matter if you're a wild card team. You just have to win a little more games. You'll get hot at the right time. We've seen teams with negative run differentials go deep. It was Arizona a couple of years ago when they won 83 games or something like that. I think they were outscored in the regular season. They made it to the World Series. The Cardinals back maybe 15, 20 years ago had an 83-team win team that won a championship. So I give the Cubs a puncher's chance, but that lineup, Crow Armstrong has been a little bit exposed in the second half after being over his skis in the first half. Tucker's been hurt. Those are their two key guys. Maybe even fold in Suzuki, another guy who's been hurt. He's coming back now, gets some swings in before the playoffs start. Probably the big three. What does Suzuki do? What's he ready to do health-wise? Is Tucker healthy again? And can we see first half PCA, not second half PCA?
Okay, American League. Who's the best team in the final week of the season right now in the American League?
I think it's the Mariners because they have the deepest pitching. They go 4 deep. It's with starters. They could fold one of those guys into the bullpen. They have a lockdown bullpen. They play good defense. And the offense, I mean, Raleigh's the big story, but, Julio Rodriguez is back playing the way he's supposed to play in the second half. They have a lot of 20 to 30 home run players here. Rosarena, Polanco has had a nice comeback season. They acquired Suarez again. It's a team that 7 of the guys in the lineup can hit home runs. And they have pitchers who throw strikes. They have pitchers who strike guys out. They have a bullpen that protects leads. And I'd love to see them go deep. This is that great playoff, the great trivia question, Nate. The only team in baseball that's never made a World Series is the Mariners. They had that great team the first year of Ichiro. They won the 116 games, I think it was. The Yankees took them out in the playoffs. It's a great baseball market. They're gaga for their team. I would love to see Seattle make a deep run, and I think they can because I think they're good at pretty much every part of baseball. They hit the ball, they pitch the ball, they catch the ball, and they can score a variety of the Rays. They have some guys on their team who aren't even fast who are stealing bases. They'll take that extra base. They've taken advantage of it. Some teams don't want to steal bases. I think the big problem with Detroit right now, that can't score. They have nobody on their team interested in stealing bases. I love that Seattle, they hit the ball over the fence, and that's important in the playoffs. Joe Sheehan has always said, ball go far, team go far. But when it comes down to those 2-1, 3-2 games, it might be first to third, it might be steal a base, it might be manufacture a run. They can do that as well.
Scott Pianowski's in tonight, final week of the season. We'll get him again, yahoosports.com, Major League Baseball. Scott, always appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks for having me, Nate.
Appreciate you coming on. Scott Pianowski, yahoosports.com, National Major League Baseball writer. Who's hot and who's not? The Huskers enter the Who's Hot, Who's Not tonight. Next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Mom, can we please go to Watiki Indoor Water Park Resort?
Watiki? What's so special about it?
Are you kidding? It's got slides, fountains, a lazy river, everything. And it's just a short drive to Rapid City. If we stay at one of the hotels, we get water park passes for free.
Wow, you really did your homework. Okay, what do you say we pack our swimsuits and hit Watiki this weekend?
Yes, best mom ever.
Unlock your adventure at WatikiWaterpark.com.
Text scams continue to rise, and victims who have lost money to these scams continues to increase. Consumers cannot rely on a text message to be truthful. If you receive a message regarding a fine for missing jury duty, your utilities being shut off for non-payment, toll road fines, or you've won a sweepstakes, these are scams designed with an urgency and the need to send money now. Do not respond to these texts, and you should contact Consumer Protection at 800-300-1986. That's 800-300-1986 for the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division.
At Highmark Credit Union, we believe banking should feel personal. That's why when you walk into our lobbies, you'll be greeted by real tellers and friendly staff, ready to help with your questions, big or small. And yes, we've got the latest technology too, for when you want quick and convenient service. The best part? You get to choose. Highmark Credit Union. Personal service backed by modern technology. We'll make it happen. Federally insured by the NCUA.
It's time to hit the court at the Watiki Fall Hoop Fest, November 7th through the 9th at the Box Elder Event Center. 3 days of non-stop basketball action as teams battle it out for bragging rights and glory. Divisions for boys and girls, grades 5th through 10th. Bring your game, bring your team, and bring the energy. And when the game's over, celebrate with special Courtyard by Marriott room rates that include Watiki Water Park passes for even more fun. Don't sit on the sidelines. Register your team today at thebox.live.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Clear skies tonight with lows around 51. Winds out of the west 5 to 10 miles per hour. Highs around 80 tomorrow. Ample sunshine expected. Clear skies tomorrow night. Lows around 53. Ample sunshine and dry Thursday and Friday. Low 80s. Thursday, mid 80s by Friday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 68.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
The new Mr. Liquor 2 in Rapid City is the only place in western South Dakota where you can order an ice-cold brew in the adjoining Campfire Bar and enjoy it while you shop. This month's wine specials include $2.50 off all Decoy Limited wines. Your choice, $22.49. Black Box 3-liter wines now only $17.49. Or save $2 off every bottle of butternut wines, specially priced at just $9.99. The new Mr. Liquor 2, off Catron next to Walmart, or the original Mr. Liquor on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
All right, let's do this. Who's hot and who's not tonight? every night on the Nate Brown Show, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet, your locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch. Who's hot and who's not tonight? Let's go with a who's hot. I know the Huskers lost. Tough. But that game, Michigan-Nebraska, brought in the most viewers on CBS this season. 5.3 million on average tuning in for the Huskers-Michigan, the most watched game on CBS this season. Big brands, big football. Everybody's still interested in the Huskers, even though they won't tell you. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not tonight, Russell Wilson, my boy, benched for no particular reason. He had a huge game against the Cowboys, kind of struggled this last Sunday, and we bench him. He's number 6 in the league in yards. He's number 6 in yards passing. Good luck with that offensive line. I hope you guys have fun. So Russell Wilson goes from good to now benched for Jackson Dart off a one bad red zone visit in an unwinnable game against the Chiefs. Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show. See you tomorrow.
Stock up for less on work and home essentials with another great week of Fleet Farm deals. Like 40 pounds of KT Basic Blend